Hey, it's Mimi. Welcome back to my channel. So today we're going to do something a little bit different. As you can see, I'm not the only one on the screen. We have Susan here, and she has volunteered to help us with a few questions. She's going to let us know about herself and what she's doing. So I'm not going to say too much questions. So introduce yourself and tell us what year you are in school.
So my name's Susan Egbert. I go to school at University of Louisiana Monroe School of Pharmacy, and I'm actually in my 4th year now. Yay!
Yay! That's great. That's great. So you are doing the traditional 4-year degree. Okay. So how do you like that better? Have you heard of the accelerated program?
I've heard of the accelerated program, but I'm not all too familiar with how they do their curriculum. I know that they have the 2 years of classes, and then they have that last year of clinical rotations, like the traditional 4 years. So.
Okay. And how did you like the 4 years? Do you think it's like, even though you don't know much about a 3 year, do you like it a little bit better with the breaks in between?
I mean, I'm kind of the person, I'm personally a workaholic myself, so I mean, if I had classes, I wouldn't mind about it. So we had the traditional fall spring courses, but we also had rotations after P1 and P2 year. So we did get breaks in between, which was good for me because I'm actually a researcher in my school, so those breaks are actually ideal for that.
Right. Okay. So so I know I already asked you, but how is your experience overall? Like, you know, when you first start pharmacy school, everything is a little bit new and you're kind of nervous, but how do you feel about your overall experience? Because you are in your 4th year, so you're pretty much done.
So the way they set up our curriculum was we kind of learned the introduction to like pharmacy and all that, like with your pathophysiology and medicinal chemistry our first year. And then 2nd and 3rd year, we kind of went a little bit different from most schools from what I've heard. We have we learn in modules by the body systems. So we had like the endocrine module, we had a neuropsychiatry module, things like that, which for someone like me, it's really not ideal because like I could do well in the basic science, but once it started hitting the clinical faculty with the therapeutics, it was just like,
I always hear about therapeutics. I'm taking that this summer and I've been warned, like, you need to be like on top of that.
Girl, I feel you.
Well, that's good. Okay, so what was your favorite part of pharmacy school?
Personally, I kind of liked how I explored different options because a lot of my classmates, they kind of just heard about residency and not so much about fellowships and things like that. Whereas I was kind of like, okay, what can I actually do? What more education can I do to make myself different from everyone else?
Right. Well, that's good. And I know you said you did take rotations. So I know like there's different parts. You do retail, you do hospital. Do you have a specific favorite out of all of them?
Personally, we just had the introduction, community introduction, hospital right now. So I definitely prefer hospital over retail. Just because I personally can't stand for long periods of time because I have terrible knees. So hospital was definitely more ideal. And I feel like I got to do more with the hospital than I did with the retail.
Okay. So good. Okay, so what was your worst part of pharmacy school? It could be like a class or an experience. If you want to let us know.
Sure. So I think the major problem with my school right now is the fact that how the clinical faculty isn't really willing to go into science. So, for example, I had a professor who I asked, like, okay, so, like, why wouldn't you give a different laxative to this opioid? Why does it have to be just Senna and Docusate? And she was like, oh, I don't know, that's just how it is. Whereas,
what?
That was really her answer. And then I actually had that question answered during my hematology and oncology module.
Oh my god!
I was like,
so like, well,
really?
That's just
like
how
this had to come like 2 semesters later. So.
Right. Oh goodness. Yeah, that must be hard. You definitely need all the information you need in pharmacy school because it'll come back and bite you, like you said. It was in your test.
Oh, definitely for sure. So like, I try to kind of like put the two together, but it's really hard to do together when you have so many disease states within your different classes.
Exactly. That is so true. That is so true. Okay, so what do you plan on doing after pharmacy school? Are you gonna work, or what's up?
I'm actually planning to do another graduate degree. I'm planning to do a PhD in natural products chemistry because that's mostly what my research has been, and that's
awesome.
What's been interesting to me the most. Just because I like learning about herbals and how people use them. So I kind of want to try to build the science behind that.
That's awesome. That's awesome. So I know you have a Instagram page, and you kind of started doing your herbal stuff. So give us like a runaround, like what a little bit more into it. Like what do you plan on doing? Like what's your future job?
Well, right now, from what I've heard, with the PharmD PhDs, you kind of have you have very narrow just because you're so specialized.
Okay.
So like you can do academia where you can do both clinical and basic science knowledge. You can work for like the FDA and NIH, things like that.
Yeah.
Or like I think another option that could be possible, which I haven't heard much of, is like just starting your own company kind of deal.
That's awesome. Do you want to start your own company or?
That I don't know yet.
You don't know yet? Yeah.
Like I can't plan that far in advance.
Yeah.
Because that would probably be the PhD program would be another 4-5 years.
Right.
Since I'm trying to do it at another university. So
that's awesome, girl. All the power to you, because once I'm done, I am done. I can't.
Well, I don't have loans like most people do. So.
Oh, good. Awesome. Maybe people can come to you and ask you about how that was possible, because I know my loans are waiting for me as soon as I graduate. So.
Oh yeah. No, I've been very blessed and very fortunate for that.
That's awesome. That's awesome. So what advice can you give for people going into pharmacy school? Because I always have people ask me a lot of questions like, I'm going in, I'm doing my prerequisites, and you know, I give them my experience, but you're almost done, so you can kind of give us an overall like picture.
Yeah. If you're going into a school like mine, I know guidelines are very good to kind of look at once you refresh yourself on like pathophysiology and medicinal chemistry. So so I would recommend going like reading, or depending on how the school does it, if they give you the access early, then you can get like the pharmacotherapy books that talks about pathophysiology, and then maybe brush up on medicinal chemistry, because I know there's a lot of classmates of mine who can't even like name certain functional groups of certain compounds.
So. That came back and bit me too.
Yeah. So after that, I would definitely recommend starting on some guidelines. Maybe try to find a disease state that you're definitely interested in, and kind of like go from there. That's how I've been doing it with herbals.
Yeah.
Since I like it so much, I'm like, oh, let me learn about this on the side.
That's so cool. That's awesome. Thank you for answering these questions. And if people have more questions, where can they find you?
So my Instagram page is the_lichen_lady_94, but I also have an email, SB as in boy, EGBERT 80@gmail.com.
Awesome. Thank you so much for this interview. Like, it was a lot of information. Hopefully in the future we can get another interview.
We need to do a 2-part series.
Yeah, we need to do another series because this is really great information. And guys, I'm gonna post her Instagram on the screen, and also on my bottom part, and also her email. So if you have any questions about herbals, if you're interested, or just school in general, please hit her up. Go on her Instagram. She has a lot of awesome stuff. Go see her there. And again, thank you so much. And,
no problem.
And hopefully we'll see you again. And guys, thank you for watching, and see you next time. Bye.